Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara Designs and today I have these two mini Slimline sunflower cards to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to create my bases first. I do like my mini Slimlines to be, I cut the cardstock down to be 6 by 6 inches and then I score at the 3-inch mark. So they are 6 by 3 inches once actually scored. And I am going to also cut down a piece of Desert Storm cardstock. It's from Neenah. It is a craft cardstock, so any craft would work for this. This is just a really pretty craft stock that I happen to own and I love. So it is kind of what I chose to use. And I cut it down to be 6 by 6 inches because I knew if I cut it in half, that would give me card panels for both cards. And because that's going to work really well with the stencil set that we're going to use here in a second. So I'm going to score my card bases at the 3-inch mark, giving me that 6 by 3-inch card base. There are other sizes for mini Slimlines. This is my preferred size. It's kind of what I go to just because I find it's the easiest one to cut. But there you can cut to whatever size you prefer. And I am going to use the Simon Says Stamp Sunflower Fields stamp, which is what you see I have in the Misti right here. And I did actually have to stamp this twice. I originally stamped it on the other side of this piece of desert cardstock. You'll see that later. But when I went to double stamp it, because I'd missed a little bit, the cardstock shifted. So I did not have success in my double stamp this time, but that's why cardstock has two sides. So I did heat set this just to be careful with the inking that I'm going to do over top. So this Simon Says Stamp set actually comes with matching, it doesn't come with it, sorry, they are purchased separately, but it has matching stencils for the layers. And I thought that would be really fun to use with this craft cardstock because oxides look really pretty on top of craft cardstock. I love that look. And I thought that it would be fun with this stamp set. So I'm going to gently blend on 4 different colors of oxide ink, and I'm going to use the 4 stencils that I purchased, or it came in a kit, actually. That's how I got it, but you can purchase them to go with this stamp set. So the 4 colors are Squeezed Lemonade, Wild Honey, Cracked Pistachio, and Lucky Clover. And I did choose those just because I thought they'd look fun together and work really well on top of this craft cardstock. And I did kind of try to pick a lighter version of the color and then a darker version of the color. And I did also use some mint tape just to hold that craft cardstock on my desk, like on my glass mat, so I didn't have to worry about the panels shifting as I was trying to add the stencils. And then I used that same mint tape to hold the stencil there as well so that I didn't have to kind of chase anything around on my glass mat. And I think it worked out pretty well. I do lose some of the wild honey ink because I am going to restamp this, which you'd think that after the time of not having it go real well with the double stamp that I tried on the first stamping, you didn't get to see it because I just didn't leave that in the video because it's just me making a mistake. And you guys are going to see the result of that when I cut this panel down. But right here, you lost a lot of the dark center and everything, so I really, really wanted to restamp it. And generally, that's kind of, it's hit or miss. Sometimes it works out super well and it looks stunning like it did here, and sometimes it doesn't work and I have to redo everything. So be aware of that if you want to do this. Line it up really well in the corner of your Misti or stamping tool. And then I really wanted to add this in the inside of the card as well. So I brought in those same 4 colors of oxide, and I'm going to stamp in my mini Slimline bases, and I just have them kind of folded over with the part that I want to stamp on the inside. This Misti is big enough that you could have the whole base open if you wanted to, but I just did this so that I would only have the portion of the image that I'm going to end up on the front of the card and the inside as well. So you can see here I'm going to line it up again on the opposite side so that I can get the other side of that stamp on the inside of the other card base. And I did choose to kind of go Squeezed Lemonade and Cracked Pistachio together, and on the other side I did Wild Honey and Lucky Clover together. So I kind of had the 2 lighter colors and the 2 darker colors together on the inside. I just thought that was kind of a fun way to mix it up. I mean, you could add all 4 if you wanted to and bring out like a dauber or your blender brushes and kind of do it. I chose not to. And then when I cut these down, I did originally cut it at the 3-inch mark. And then I'm going to trim off about 1/4 of an inch so that I can have a fair border around it. I do end up deciding to add a black mat. If you guys have been with me for a minute, you know that I love my black mat. It just finishes the card. It's hard to explain. For me, I find that it really looks beautiful, so I tend to like to add it, and I feel like it really helped differentiate my bases as well. It kind of, you can see that double stamping. But I do like to bring in that black matte. I just find that it helps the colors pop and it kind of separates the base and the panel that I have. So not necessary, but something I love to do. And then I did add a little bit of twine on the bottom of the cards. I just felt like it needed a little something extra, just because it's kind of fun. And I do use double-sided tape on the back so that I can get my twine to stay where I want it to. I do find otherwise I struggle with it a lot more. So this is kind of just an easy way to get it to stay exactly where I want it to be. And I didn't measure it. I just cut off a length of the twine and then just wrap it around. And I am going to make a bow with it later. And oh man, did I struggle to make a bow. You guys will see this here in a minute. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I struggle a little bit to make bows anyways, but this one was bad. It was pretty funny. So here's where I decided that I really wanted to add that black matte. And for the black matte, I cut it down to the 6-inch mark first, and then I'm going to cut it half. And then I tried to make it about 1/8 of an inch smaller than my base, so that you get a really thin layer of each layer, like the white layer, the black layer, and then the panel on top. Each one kind of is quite a thin layer. That's what I kind of aim for. I don't always measure things. I kind of eyeball them a lot, so that's just kind of how I roll, but I think that it looked pretty cute. And then I wanted to do a white sentiment, so I'm going to heat emboss a happy birthday sentiment on the same black cardstock I'm going to use for the matte. And this just came from the same Sunflower Field stamp set. There's a couple of sentiments in there that were pretty neat, and I just thought a happy birthday would be a good one to add. I tend to run out of thank you cards and birthday cards, and I realized the other day when I went to give a coworker a birthday card that I didn't have very many left, so I did kind of need to make a few more birthday cards that I had a little bit more on hand when I wanted to give one out. But I did white heat emboss that on that black, and that anti-static powder comes off super easily. I just used a microfiber cloth to wipe it off after it had heat set, so it comes off very, very easily. And then I'm going to just trim down my sentiments. You could die cut these. I chose to trim them just because I find that I like that really thin sentiment look. I find it kind of is a cool addition to a card like this. It's just a very thin, fine sentiment, but it, it's there, so you know what the card's for. And these cards could be for anything. I mean, I'm choosing to make them birthday because I'm lacking in birthday cards, but they could absolutely be any type of sentiment would have worked on these, because really they're just kind of a rustic feeling card. So you could go like these, they're even a bit vintage, really. So other than, the bright insides, but the card itself is kind of vintage. And then I'm just going to adhere all the layers together. I'm still trying to use up this bottle of Nuvo Deluxe glue. It has so little in the bottom, and yet it keeps giving me more and more glue. Like, I keep thinking it's empty, and then, it not quite. So it just sits on my desk upside down, and I'm kind of hoping I use it all because I have a replacement for it, and yet it's the gift that keeps on giving, apparently. It just does not want to run out. And then I adhered my panels to the card that had the same matching picture on the inside. You'll see that here in a second, that I kind of just... You could switch it up if you see I'm still trying to get all this glue out, and there's still some in there. You could absolutely switch it up so you had both pieces of the picture on those cards, but I just kind of liked the way that it looked with the matching picture. And you'll see that when I open the card here in a minute, when I show you the insides as well, that it just kind of looks neat when you open the card and have the exact same matching image on the inside. So I liked how that looked, but completely up to you. I mean, I'm just kind of showing you a design, and then you get to turn it into something that is your own. So by all means, make it your own in whatever way that works for you. And then here, you know what? It's really funny. I've tied many a bow in my day, and yet I completely forgot how to tie a bow here. I struggled. I mean, I cut some of that down because you don't want to see me struggle with a piece of twine for 20 minutes. But honestly, I forgot how to make a bow. You see that bow in the top corner that's sitting kind of beside the one card and my teacup? But I forgot. So I had to stop recording so that I could remember how to make a bow and then try to recreate it while I was recording. It was a bit painful. I don't know what the heck was going on. And maybe I was just tired. I don't know, but I had a heck of a time. And I do generally struggle with bows. I do have long nails. They make it a little bit more difficult, though I obviously can make them because it does happen. But I just, for some reason, struggle to make bows sometimes. And today was one of those times. I could not get my mind to wrap around the idea of making a bow. And then I did bring in some foam strips just so I could pop my sentiment up a little bit. I like dimension on my cards. I just find that adds a little of more interesting texture. So I do tend towards that. You don't need to pop it up. This is just because that's something I really enjoy in my cards. So I did just cut down a little piece of that foam strip to what size I needed for my sentiment, and then I just adhered it on the back, and then I'll add them here in a minute. I just kind of was playing around with some different layers in this. And I know this is not this most vibrant color palette, which is something that I tend towards. I generally, if you guys have been with my channel for a while, you know that I tend towards vibrant colors because I love them. They make me happy. They make me smile. Everything about a vibrant card is exciting. And if you saw the last video with that rainbow and roses card, like that is super, super vibrant. And this is like the opposite of that. But I find that I do try to create different styles of cards because if you're with my channel because you like me and you want to hang out with me, but vibrant's not your thing, I really want to try to offer you something as well. Like I want everybody to feel like they can create what I'm creating. And obviously you can always change the color palette if you're not enjoying, if you love the card design that I've made, but you don't like the rainbow, you could do a monochromatic look, or you could do, shades of one, like two colors that you love together, or whatever makes it yours. But I think it's harder to think that when you see it a certain way. And I want to offer you guys a really good range of different things that you can make. And hopefully it sparks, some creativity for you that you get to try out and enjoy and love and, create something really pretty because everybody can. So that is what's going on with these cards. They're a little bit more muted to my normal palette, but I think they turned out really cute. I think they'll be a fun birthday card for someone to receive. I would love to know what you guys think. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and sometimes I have a few extras on the weekend if I can manage to make them. But yeah, so that is the cards I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, a little bit different than my usual, but I think they turned out really pretty. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye for now.